watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists.
If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and on and on and on and on.
But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality.
The women in the vista are descending, and the conservative firework this time isn't just for show. Karoline Leavitt has set off an extremely powerful legal mead bomb. ABC executives are in a complete crisis. The phones are ringing nonstop. Lawyers are frantically trying to control harm. An absolute catastrophe. Could this be the end of The View as we know it? What did she do? Who is being exposed? Hold on tight, because this scandal is going to rock Hollywood to its foundation, and this is where it becomes completely crazy. After yet another arrogant, tone-deaf attack by cocky Goldberg, Karoline Leavitt didn't even have to enter The View to bring the entire event to its knees. Instead of just retaliating, Joy Behar and Sunny Huston went nuclear, with no tactful rejoinder or well-crafted public relations comments. Simply a severe legal action so potent that it has now, that the anger is so intense that it's sending shockwaves across the whole network. ABC is frantically trying to limit the fallout. Rumors are circulating. Behind closed doors, panic is spreading. ABC is frantically seeking a solution, with executives rushing to control damage and fearing that this could be the start of the end. They want to make this catastrophe stop before it's too late. According to reports, ABC execs are in complete panic mode. Rushing behind the scenes to get Karoline Leavitt to back down. The network is in a crisis as they attempt to control the fallout before it destroys their reputation. Before we get into the drama, remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This ship is beyond repair, but let's be honest, it has already sunk. We are so grateful for your support. What specifically did Karoline do that caused Whoopi to have an uncontrollable tantrum? And what was left? It was so devastating that Sunny Tin, the queen of smug comebacks, was left completely quiet. This wasn't just a retort, it was a scorched earth takedown, and believe me, you don't want to miss it. Joy Behar was obviously shaken, clutching the table as if her livelihood relied on it.
Like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
But before we dive right into this complete carnage, do yourself a favor and hit subscribe and obliterate that like button for the unvarnished, uncensored truth that they don't want you to hear. This takedown is only just getting started, and by the time it's finished, there might not be anything left of The View to save.
To attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline.
Let's prepare for one of the year's largest media bloodbaths. The View made a grave error in a recent episode when they believed they could ambush Karoline Leavitt with their typical arrogant tirades and simply leave unpunished. The host lost it and launched a full-scale character assassination against Karoline, not because of anything she did wrong, but rather because she dared to be a young conservative powerhouse who doesn't submit to their agenda.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
And taking the initiative, Joy Behar, dripping with condescension, rolled her eyes and dismissed Karoline's intelligence, experience, and success as if she were just a pretty face. In Joy's twisted world, she claimed that the only reason Karoline rose to prominence was because she was just another Trump-approved 10. That's right, she reduced everything Karoline had worked for to her appearance. Then, in her typical self-righteous rage, Goldberg B., who was always ready to vent, decided that Karoline didn't deserve her position. Rather, it was granted to her because of wokeness.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about
Her exact words, "I would like this young woman, who is working at her first job, to complete some homework, because she said yesterday something that really infuriated me. She said that there wouldn't be any wokeness here because women weren't invited to the table before, and that women weren't allowed in many places in this country. The irony is that the same women who claim to champion young professionals, especially young women, publicly trashed Karoline's entire career because she doesn't pair at their poll politics. But here's where things really went awry. She doubled down, flailing her arms and raising her voice, acting as if she were teaching Karoline about history. She already knew that this wasn't just about Black people, Asian people, it was a man's world, and we busted our asses to change it. Whoopi Goldberg, the White House press secretary position, was being mansplained to Karoline Leavitt by a millionaire TV host. Of course, she had to bring up race in the conversation, because that's what the public does when they lose an argument, but Karoline wasn't having it. Instead of simply clapping back, she brutally destroyed the entire set. His opponents continue to use the same rhetoric that resulted in not one, but 2 assassination attempts, demonstrating his unrepentant and unstoppable nature. The same old myth that Trump poses a threat to democracy was repeated in the second effort, and if you're a mentally ill, crazy maniac, you'll believe it, and, yes, you will act on it, as we've seen twice now.
Watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality.
Her remarks were quite incisive. Her facts were undeniable, and she did not hold back. And then she took it even further last week. Tim Walz and Kay Harris said that everyone who showed up to Trump's Madison Square Garden rally cut to commercial. That's right, the network yanked her off the air before she could finish. They panicked, but it was too late. The damage was done. The View had no clue what was about to hit them next. Karoline didn't stop at calling out their lies. She eviscerated them. That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric spewed by the Democratic Party every single day. And I am done with the media pointing fingers at Donald Trump, pretending he's the one dividing this country. He's not. The media is for pushing hoaxes like the one you just peddled today, for twisting narratives, spreading misinformation, and manipulating the truth to fit your agenda. And the Democrats, they're just as guilty, lying about him, fear-mongering, painting millions of Americans as threats. And then she dropped the hammer. But here's the good news: Americans aren't falling for it anymore. That's why today President Trump is more popular than he's been since 2016, because people have woken up, and they don't trust the media anymore. The audience dead silent, the hosts frozen. They weren't prepared for this kind of pushback. A full-scale Karoline was burnt as a result of the nonsensical obliteration. Earth released a viral video that completely upended the narrative's views. This panel is nothing more than a collection of resentful, out-of-touch elitists who only act in support of women when those women share their views.
Divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world.
And she continued after that. Joy Behar is the epitome of modern feminism. She advocates for women's empowerment, but the moment she encounters a young conservative who doesn't bow down, she is the first to criticize her. It's disgusting. Then she attacks Whoopi, who says, "I wouldn't have a job without wokeness," which is hilarious given that the entire panel is composed of inexperienced DEI hires. Lastly, she destroys Sunny Hostin. Of all people, Sunny Hostin wanted to discuss privilege and give me a break before dropping the bomb. The View prefers submissive women over strong ones. Within minutes of the boom game ending, Karoline, the winner, walked away, and ABC is in full-scale meltdown mode, trying to manage the PR catastrophe they just entered. I refuse to play their game boom. Karoline LS's video went viral on social media or was removed from View. Things went from bad to disastrous for The View when they took over Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. They thought they could laugh it off and go on, but instead they gave Karoline the greatest PR win of her career, and now ABC is in full-blown crisis mode. According to leaked reports, executives are now seriously considering whether Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg are liabilities after what should have been a straightforward hit job on Karoline turned into one of the worst PR disasters in The View's history.
The President and this administration are committed to ensuring that these individuals get the funding that they need. And I would just say a strong message to Democrats who are out there pretending to be outraged about the long list of crap that this administration is cutting, federal waste and funding, like $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, $20 million on a new Sesame Street show in Iraq, $4.5 million to combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. I could go on, and I'm happy to provide this list to every single one of you.
Sponsors are retreating. The true shocker is that ABC is reportedly frantically pleading with Karoline to withdraw her case before it worsens, as brands do not want to be linked to The View's terrible reputation. Even the viewers of The View are abandoning them. The viewpoint that promotes empowerment but crushes any woman who doesn't match their goal was perfectly captured in one viral comment. The truth is that The View survives on controversy, but when the backlash outweighs the ratings boost, it's over. Right now, they're hanging on by a thread. What do you think? Did The View finally go too far? Will ABC pull the plug after this disaster? Let us know in the comments before you hit the like and subscribe buttons, because this drama is far from over. Karoline Leavitt just exposed them for the frauds they are.